Greetings and salutations, this is Jason Silverain, and I'm returning to Dragonball Z Xenoverse. Now, in my review, I think I focused a bit too much on negatives, and may have given the wrong impression. Now, I don't hate this game, as some of you may suspect. It's actually quite a fun game. The main issue is the fun behind it is just buried under a ton of problems. Now, where to start? Alright, what does Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse do well? Well, it's got the appearances of characters bang on. It's got reasonably good voice acting, apart from a few parts where there are terrible translations. The subtitles don't match up with the spoken word, and like issues such as that. But all the characters' voices sound correct, and that's pretty good. It's attempted to do an interesting story. There's a few bits and pieces here and there that just simply don't make sense, like most of it, to be honest. But I mean, the area designs, this is quite an interesting area, not that you'll really get to see it properly without being able to fly. Character designs are quite good for the new characters. They don't seem out of place. I love that Majin Buu character. And they've tried to put some support in for the game, even if it is just DLC. The music's relatively solid, though I think I recognise more music from games than I do from anything from the TV series or such. And for the most part, the fighting system is enjoyable. For the most part, in the early stages of the game, before they start implementing all the fake difficulty. It's very basic. You know, there's areas where you could improve it, but in hindsight, Dragon Ball Z for years has just had one huge problem with every single one of his games. Trying to get the feeling of the show, of the manga, into a physical game is very difficult. That high-paced, high-speed, overpowered combat is not something that you can translate well in many cases.
Alright, bring it!
It's just a case of... Well, let's just say Xenoverse is a prime example. Its main problem is it cannot really handle multiple combatants well. They either stand around and do nothing and are idiots, or they sit on the sidelines and just spam super moves into the combat. And because of the evasion system and the method of blocking and such, see, Krillin just comes in here and I'm pressing A to dodge and I couldn't do anything. I just have to take the punches in the face and there's nothing I can do. I can try hitting block, but because I'm being stun locked, every hit actually stun locks me. Something that the AI doesn't really have to worry about that much, because they can just sort of do recovery moves in the middle of that anyway. Again, fake difficulty, AI cheating. You know, when you get hit and you get knocked flying, there's nothing you can do.
Not bad.
And that's Xenoverse's main flaw in its combat style. I mean, Budokai had it quite nice. I mean, it was very much a one-on-one fighting game. You could not do that really multiplayer. Say multiplayer. Yeah, multi-combatants.
Whoa, look at that. You're on a whole different level.
But it did have the brilliant advantage of being able to kick people through scenery, you know, and destroy things. Where this, it has the scenery, but none of it's destructible. Well, next to none of it's destructible. None of the important bits are destructible. You can't kick someone through a mountain. You'll constantly find that, you know, you'll hit people into the ground. A little crater will appear. But you can't follow up any of these attacks. The combo system's a bit trash, to be honest, because, yeah, you can hit people, but as soon as they hit a wall or fall down, they're invincible. You cannot hit people while they're on the ground. Now, I don't know if that's to do with German video game laws, where you're not allowed to be able to play games. I mean, any games in Germany, you can't strike people on the floor. I believe it's Germany anyway. There's one of the European countries that has this law basically saying you can't kick people when they're down in video games. It's and it's one of the things designers have to consider. Now, if anyone's got the American version of this or the Japanese version, I'd love to see if you can hit people on the ground with that, or if it's just something that's across all the game. But it's very frustrating to do the whole combos, and a lot of the combos will smash an opponent into a wall, smash an opponent into the floor, and then that's the prime time to sort of charge up your big old key blast, and no Cell, you can't do anything. That's your attack wasted.
Unleash your power. Let's go.
Yes.
Power. This keeps up, I'm not gonna
Also, as I kind of mentioned, the weakness of the physical combat in the combos, it's just there's no real difference to when you're doing an X strike to when you press Y, or it doesn't feel like there is. Unlike the actual 2D fighting games where I sort of had an idea of what was going to happen next, I never really know what's going to happen with my basic strikes.
Sorry to bother your battle.
If
but
I
I'm
press
here to put an
Y
end to
too
it.
soon
Okay.
and interrupt with a strong strike.
Reminds me of the world tournament.
See there? I teleported behind Goku to avoid his attack, and he still kicked me in the damn face.
Come on,
Stuff like that really bugs me. Evasion and blocking is just not very well done, but again, with this whole 3D style combat, it's a bit of an issue. Now, but look at Namek, it is beautiful, the scenery is done well, the characters all move individually, have their own individual fighting styles, have their own special moves. No two characters are really the same apart from the recolors. And when I say recolors, I mean like the alternative costumes, things like that.
I didn't train enough. You're going to get
Oh.
much stronger.
Okay.
Don't slack off on your training.
Where to go next from this? Yes, for example, Tien will fight like Tien in the show. He makes very notable stances. But that, on the flip side, just goes to show how the character creation is so weak. I mean, I get no choice to what kind of style I use. I just get stuck with what looks like maybe adult Gohan's fighting style. I'm not entirely certain. But again, it's that weakness in the actual customization system. But it does mean, I guess, there's a reason to play different characters. That said, the roster is pretty damn huge, even if most of the DLC from like this. I think it's like I can't even put the cursor over any of the lock spots. Basically, from this chap to the right, that's all DLC. But you've got Kid Gohan, Teen Gohan. I'm guessing the bottom one will be Adult Gohan. I'm guessing the other ones are different forms of Goku. I honestly don't know. But yeah, one of the weaknesses in the game though is its absolute travesty of how it handles the Cell Saga. It just skips to the Cell game straight away. There's no lesser forms of Cell. There's no build up to it. It's just there we go, Cell games done. Which is kind of a bit of a shame. It kind of undermines Cell as a villain. I guess they didn't want the to handle the issue with people getting murdered as Cell absorbs them. Same reason as like stupid censoring, where they don't show like blast marks or holes on people when they like at the start of the Saiyan saga, where Radix turns up and ends up getting a special beam cannon through the chest. Okay, goodbye Krillin. Most of the animations for the moves are very loyal to what they should look like. All the poses are very nice. if it wasn't for the more technical aspects of not really giving any information and horrible balancing between moves, I'd actually say it was one of the best, best versions of the Dragon Ball Z games for actually getting everything visually correct. The controls are passable. Yes, I had a go at them being not comfortable and a bit of a mess, which I still stand by. They don't seem to just... I don't know. I personally don't think they flow well. The amount of times I've got to hold down a button to do something, and you know, because of the stun, a very easy time to get stun locked, it makes it very difficult to flow moves into one another.
I didn't think you'd be this strong. Shoot.
Again, this is all my own personal experience, and some of you may find it that it does flow easy for you. Again, I personally don't think it does. The scoring is a load of crap. I will say that. I barely got a hit. I've got all these bonuses. I did it amazingly fast. Finished it with a super move, but because I didn't like, I don't even know why I didn't get a C or an S rank. I didn't really do much that was different from the previous one. Maybe I didn't do enough of the arbitrary throw people 3 times sort of thing. Now, where it falls down is its own technical aspects. I mean, the whole server side of things is garbage. That's probably a bit of a harsh to say, but the fact I've got to log in to do offline mode, well, I say offline play, it's very unstable. The fact that things like team registration and finding your friends is very difficult. The fact the delivery system crashes the game if you're not in the default settings. Just a whole host of terrible little niggly issues, which haven't been really looked into. A lot of people just keep complaining that the only thing the developers do is add more DLC to the game and don't really do much improvement of the technical aspects. Just having a look at some of the characters. Customization, I rambled a lot in the actual review, and my general upset at it due to the lack of colouring and all that, so I'm not really going to go back into that again. Now, here we go again. To reiterate the random number generation in this game, how everything relies on just random chance is awful, and that is the biggest flaw in this game, because it forces grinding, it causes frustration, and while there is something to be said for grinding, and grinding has its place, you know, you shouldn't have to grind for an encounter to occur when you've done everything for said encounter to occur, because, you know, say I did all this, and Goku uses his Kaioken. I beat him. The random chance should be whether or not I get the skill. That's fair. It shouldn't be a random chance whether or not I even get the Goku Kaioken event. If that even... Again, I don't know if that stacks. The lack of feedback and the lack of a sort of training mode where you can even see your button inputs or the damage you do, it really hinders it there.
So this is where the energy is coming from. I'm joining in. Let's go.
Again, earning skills by having to buy them. I can sort of see why they've done that to avoid some of the frustrating trying to grind certain skills, but again, it takes away from the Master System. The Master System is very, very bare bones and basic, and I would say there was a much better way to handle it. But with all this sort of covered, it's like Xenoverse 2 may not have these issues.
You're really something.
Again,
Well done.
S rank. Didn't really fight any difference than I did before. Yes, Xenoverse 2 may not have these issues, but I will certainly be watching and waiting before I would purchase it. There we go. What should I put? Maybe more stamina. I think stamina goes up to 40, and then I'll level up Super Strikes, personally. Now, what could you do to make a good Dragon Ball Z game? Well, I honestly think that I've been doing a lot of comparisons to Dynasty Warriors, and that's because some of the aspects of Dynasty Warriors 8 really sort of stick in my head when playing this game. Now, I sort of like the parallel quests as like little side missions, but as storylines go, and I love the way some of the games, especially the Game Boy Advance games, handle alternative storylines, what ifs, and a lot of fans do love those what if scenarios. It's really appealing. I'll see which TN's better. So, for example, Dynasty Warriors 8 has a sort of historical mode, and once you've gone through that, you can go sort of through certain events again, and you get hypothetical mode, which has a different storyline. Now, it would be brilliant if they started introducing that as a sort of standard. If you made something a bit like Xenoverse, I would say not Xenoverse itself, but say they took these mechanics and kind of threw away the plot and decided to do something different with it. You could literally have a storyline mode campaign where you play as the main characters, you play through the story, and yeah, granted, some people go, yeah, but that's all been done before. Yeah, but rather than being sticking with one character, it's one of those, depending on the story, you can pick a character from that. Say you got the Radix scenario. You could play Goku or Piccolo. Goku has the goal of ending the fight with a grab. Piccolo gets a bonus. Essentially, I say goal. Let's look up a bonus. Piccolo could get a bonus if he ends the fight with a special beam cannon. Sort of a little storyline thing. Oh, and you go to the Saiyan Saga and you get the initial fight against the Silverain, and then you can play as Krillin or Yamcha, since they actually did the fighting in that bit. Yeah, that sort of thing. You basically select have a selection of characters depending on what was the scenario. Makes sense. You go for the story mode. Once you finish the main story, or once you finish a saga, you can go back and do like hypothetical scenarios. Oh, who are you? Oh, is that TN?
Hi.
Oh, cheers. I've got that free TNs. And say you did a Radix mode, rather than the simple
I'll prove that to you.
oh, sorry. Trying to play and talk at the same time. My brain doesn't always keep up with both. Yes. Say using these beginning of the Saiyan Saga as the example again. Say you play as Radix, you kill Goku. There's two ways you could have a hypothetical scenario go here. You could have you kill Goku, Piccolo runs away, steals Gohan, and things sort of go as the Saiyan Saga, but Radix is alive and he's been killing humans for the last year, waiting for the rest of his group to appear. Oh, there's Captain Ginyu.
This will be a battle like none other before.
But I love that complete lack of lip syncing. It's not really supposed to be expected here. Alternatively, you could have a scenario where Radix kills both of them, takes Gohan and trains Gohan himself, and raises him to be like a Saiyan. Then you get a Saiyan saga of, I don't know, Radix has been training Gohan for the year with the thing of, you will join us and we'll spare some of the humans, like your mother. Bit dark, but you know, it's not as dark as some of the other stuff that popped up in mainstream anime and manga. And then you could have a Saiyan saga where Gohan is on the side of the Saiyans, basically being forced to fight. So again, that's the same story. It's sort of the same. You could still have the same fights, just from the villain's perspective, but you'd have, well, what's with all the explosions going on? Okay. There's supposed to be Frieza around here somewhere. I don't know where he is. But yes, the hypothetical scenario would be, alright, think of it in terms of gameplay matches. One, Radix fights against Goku and Piccolo. The next fight is sort of the training scenario where Radix fights Kid Gohan, training him. Next, you're playing either one of either Kid Gohan, Radix, or Nappa, and you're fighting the basically the Z Warriors, the usual suspects of Krillin, Tien, Yamcha. No Piccolo in this scenario because he's already dead. No Goku either because no Dragon Balls. Then you get a scenario at the end of that of, maybe one of the three mentioning if we only had the Dragon Balls. If they hadn't killed Piccolo, we'd have the Dragon Balls sort of thing. And from the end of there, ooh, crud! I thought I was out of range of that. Fine, have your own death ball back at you. Which one of them thinks of, why could a Namekian make these powerful items? Let's go to Namek to and see if they've made some. And it sort of follows the sagas. Just with a roundabout way, maybe Vegeta turns Earth into like his own new Vegeta, new planet Vegeta sort of thing. And that would just be maybe 4 or 5 levels with no real need for new characters. The only thing you might get at the end of it is a bonus version of Gohan, which is essentially Saiyan Warrior Gohan, which is just basically Kid Gohan with a completely different moveset. And that sort of thing would be interesting. Wow, I fluked out. I really did. You just wouldn't know how many times I've replayed this level. I think it's probably like the 9th, 10th time now. Oof, got lucky there. Usually I'm lucky to get even one skill. I'll have to check those out later. And this would add a lot of replay value to the game. You could easily do it without having to really add many new characters or just a few variations. It would be interesting to see what the heck would happen if Nappa or Radix would turn Super Saiyan. But that won't happen. It would be nice to see as like just a bonus, but it wouldn't happen. In terms of mechanics, I'm more of a fan of the early Budokai series. Budokai 3 was just awesome. I mean, look, go watch Team 4 Star's videos on this and Budokai. It just shows some of the best aspects of it, because this is another thing. Xenoverse doesn't have beam struggles. It doesn't have any of this sort of like, if you get a clash, yeah, you get the animation of a clash, but you can't do anything. And it's things like that that just take away from the game. I mean, I'd love to see some feedback in the comments, what you guys think would make an amazing Dragon Ball Z game. Or alternative like scenarios and possibilities you'd like to see. I just like this. I always like this sort of concepts and what ifs. I mean, as I say, the SNES RPG did it really well. There was a couple of bad endings where, oh look, you killed Vegeta at this earlier on in the saga, and now you've run into Frieza and you've got no help from Vegeta, so he basically kills Krillin, and that's it, game over. In some of the story, but it was interesting, and a few of the other games have come up with great storylines where the humans actually are worth a damn in the series. And it's not just you know, Goku dies early in the series, and oh look, Krillin becomes a hero, sort of thing. But thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear some feedback. Catch you next time.